time, that particular point and juncture in their existence. But I've had gay friends that wanted to do the same and just talk and talk and like girls. I like talk and talk and talk, but I'm not going to take anyone's time to do that. Like, your highest purpose in life is to serve as a receptacle for whatever comes out of my mouth for hours on end. I don't think that's fair to anybody, unless you like that kind of thing. Okay. Well, I had one person walking over me, lady with the dog gone by me. I still don't have to poo again. I'm thinking I'm going to, strangely enough, and I think I kind of don't mind, in the sense that I was kind of sexually harassed yesterday, and it really does put a little in your blood. But it lets you know something's fine. I'm sure I'll start going again tomorrow. It's just, when I'm around women with above average sexual problems, it affects my bowels. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just what it's going to do. They've got a problem, and you can draw other women into the range of that problem, because they'll often, when they get active in that way, they're often more likely to do so when they're around other women, right? They feel more comfortable. Their inhibitions go down when you form a group with them. As soon as another white person or white woman there, now it's a group. And they have always known, and they've learned since they were young, to lower their inhibition in groups. Their greatest sense of themselves is in terms of groups and what they're a part of in groups. So you get, if you ever go out with a white woman, try going out with her and her friends when they're in a group, and see how you feel about her then, and see how she changes when she's with her friends, when she's in a group. If you want a good man, find a man who's not used to being in groups, who can think for himself. I've never met a white woman who wasn't a completely different person around her friends than she is when she's alone. And she's not even really herself when she's with you alone. It's like, how does she even know who she is anymore? And that's the scariest side if you listen to teenage girls talk, boy girls. The scariest side is if that really is all that's on their mind. I can say that with anybody. Any teenagers, like, I hope that's just not all that. I'm sure there's a lot more there. There's got to be a lot more there. Or is this just the surface level of what's there? That it is, pointed like the hulk of a mighty ship in the right direction. And this is just sort of the overhead chatter, like a military person conducting an operation, and while they're waiting for the fueling the plane at 10,000 feet, they just have a little talk about whether they like Starbucks or Tim Hortons, and like, oh, cheerio, cheerio, do you do? And it's just kind of this total communication of like, here's the professional component of our destiny, which basically we all share. And this is some of the minor details about who pulled whose hair down at the playground today. It's strange to think about white people that way. And I grew up in white people, and even kind of brown white people, more like in a white environment, and what steps they learned to take, in the progress of life that I didn't, and how that turns out, and how in a great cosmic sense, not one person is not really worse than another. It's the choices you make, depending on whether the environment has sufficiently induced in you the will or the ability or the lowered inhibition, depending on how we measure out each person's behavior, to perform at a certain level, and to behave a certain way, and to interact a certain way with people and the human component to life. And that's the word eating. So that, certainly, like, most white people need to be able to get up 5 times a week and work 8 to 12 hours a day for the rest of their lives. So if you think that, at best you want your children to be able to do that, you're going to want them to go through a certain sequence, right? And it's not to the system in general here, white, very white, and I would say fairly poor, even upper middle class part of the world. The world isn't too discriminating about what you choose to do, just as long as you do something. So as to whether you get a great education or they just push you through, as long as you get something you're passionate about doing in the world, they're happy. Whether you're pouring coffee or singing opera or playing soccer for the varsity team at the Olympics. It's all fair game because a busy human is a good human. Chances are, you're going to induce in the white child a great sense of pride at working. That no matter who you are, as long as you're working 5 times a week, 8 to 12 hours a day, you're part of the effort, that man in every incarnation has to make. Otherwise, he's not really a man anymore. It's the very least that you do. Otherwise, you've chosen to drop out of the human race and you don't deserve the same consideration. That you get health benefits or whatever else is basically just human pity and how the world allows you to be a thief of other people's labor because you found a way to satisfy yourself that for political or stupid metaphysical reasons or religious reasons you don't think you should want to, and you're just too reliably terrified of performing at the level that we do. It's the worst kind of mob mentality. That the less working more than the working person is able to connect to the collective thievery of the economic world in general. That you want to look at every insufficiency, every unnecessary crime and suffering. It is going to come down to the overall nature of the economic systems of the world. I fucking promise you. And it doesn't mean that anyone should have to suffer any more than they already have. And you should all have your wonderful world. You should have all of our governments and everything nice and wonderful and pretty. And all just learn how to be the right kind of person that nobody has to suffer as much as they do anymore. Don't be too poor. Don't be too stupid. Don't be too disobedient. And everyone is going to be okay. But that sounds like the opening line to a movie about a bank robbery, doesn't it? It doesn't sound like the way life could be. We've just gotten used to it. That the best way that society is sounds like nothing more than an advertisement for a movie about life. It's not real. It's a series of magical ideas. Right? And if anyone and everyone can have some kind of satisfying sense of bordering on the existential regions beyond your daily subsistent way of life, then why shouldn't they? If it makes you feel good, go ahead. But now, how do we gauge into the improvement and the advance upon the very nature of existence, however abstract you may have needed it to be or to remain, that may be said with some considerable determination that many people may lack any desire to want to demonstrate in years of all kinds of careers and industry in the world, to think about how it really measures out, practically speaking, in terms of what cost or not is being declared and guaranteed by the lengths to which we go to justify the world in all of the existential ways that we do. That this is the best world that we can expect for all that we give to the world, of all of our work and all of our sacrifice. That always seems like a military test site to me. Well, we've gotten quite far. Hey, that bus says forest. That's nice. I wonder if it goes to the forest. Forest buses. I like buses in general. Busing is my favorite mode of distant travel. I've only done it once or twice, but I liked it. I like traveling on buses. Long distances, they're fun. Make sure you peed and pooped. It's like high school. I don't want to have to get off the bus when it stops. When I get on my seat on a bus, as long as it's under 12 hours, I don't want to get up. Even if there's only 6 people, it's my little territory. It's my home. My home away from home. Leave me alone. I got my book in my pocket. I've got some gummy bears. I've got maybe something to listen to or to draw, something to write with, 2 pens, a backup, maybe something to read. I can stare out the window for hours on end and be supplied ample amusement besides within my jacket pocket. I'm a happy man. Or my knapsack. And just let the world float by. I mean, if it's a necessary tedium, it is so much the easier to bear. And I find that long distance travel is like a necessary tedium. A time for reflection. In fact, you can often look at your reflection in the window, especially if the bus is traveling at night. I once came home from a concert I arranged a way to go to all by myself, which even now sounds strange to say it, but it was the all by myself concert. Pearl Jam, Vancouver, stayed overnight in a motel, took a bus home. Did this all by myself, no friends, no family, and having seen some considerable injuries from my family at the time. So I was pretty alone. I mean, school, job, I was an existential bum, but I was a poet. I was conjuring up the healing of myself from ethers unknown, and had nothing to recommend myself to myself but that what else was I going to fucking do? There's nothing like what else are you going to do to fulfill your destiny. And as much as any human life is 99% tedium, I was prepared to take on mine in a rather solitary manner. And that's, the long and short of it. My penis, the long and short of it. Yeah, no anxiety today, just not the bowel movement I might have expected, but I had a good one to start today, and that'll have to do. It makes me a little nervous to think about it, but it really comes from nervousness, and it comes from harassment and sexual harassment, any kind. This is where all the videos I make today about disliking some of the behavior I get from women come to fruition. I'm going to go down here because actually it's a nice path and I might need to take a crap at some point. It might actually induce my body. I go someplace a little off the beaten path here. But it comes from nervousness, and any kind of nervousness. And this is where the body says, no matter how you have to rationalize things, and I get that. There's a swastika, nice. The world and parts of it that you may guess, that slip by in a matter of seconds can affect how you poop. It's a remarkable correlation, and I could tell you exactly who and what type of person they're like and what type of effects they have on my body, any kind that I can expect. My body does seem to want to give up something. It's just like the weather report, there's a 20% chance the next 15 minutes I'll poop, but I'm going to walk down this path, which at this time of day, in this attitude, feels pretty good. I'm feeling, if I start to feel comfortable and nostalgic, I'm more likely to poop. So, it's just like if you were a deer going off from the highway, your family's sitting at the rest area, and you're like, I'm just going to go for a little jog. I'm at the age that if I drive in a car and a truck with somebody or some people, at some point I'd say to my newfound friends, I'd be like, just so you know, at some point I need us to park and I'm going to excuse myself and go for a walk because I'm probably going to take a shit. And they'd be like, but that's what I do. You're an animal. I'm like, yes, but, I'm a philosopher and a poet and I like to crap in the woods. It's a way it's healthy for me. It gets me going, gets things moving, and I'm sorry I'm an animal. I'm not going to make you watch. Oh, but I wanted to. We got something going on down there. I got something in the hopper. All right, you've come to CRAP in Cincinnati, and we are about to see something even more incredible than what Geraldo Rivera found in Al Capone's vault. And I stayed up all night to see what would happen, and the answer is nothing. Okay. Oh yeah, there's something coming, all right. Jesus, I'm going to DEFCON 2 now. DEFCON 2. You know what? I saw some men walking down here today. I'm not entirely certain if I'm going to be alone in my time of need. I think it might be a breech birth, you know what I'm saying? I might have to turn it before it comes out. Come on, turn it. Turn it into a number 3, I wonder if you could shoot crap out of your dick. Damn it, we've only got a urinal. That's okay. I'll turn on the conversion unit. Brown stream comes up. Dude, you can crap out of your dick. I'm going to put that on my list. What list is that? Things that no one else can do. What other list would it be? Things that you can do? No, I can't do it. Come on, I can teach you. Look, what you got to do is you got to picture your colon hooking up to your urethra. Plug it in like a USB. Now it's going to convert the excrement units into piss units. It's going to confuse it, really. So it's not going to be able to tell the difference. So whatever comes out is coming out through your penis. Okay. So what happens if it stays that way? That's a good question. Then you lose the ability to crap for the rest of your life. And you have to crap out of your penis. The good thing is it makes it easier to crap in people's face. They'll think it's ice. They'll think it's icing until they figure it out. I had a dream that somebody was frosting me. Okay, sometimes I make myself laugh when I have to take a shit. Look at this. I'm so glad I came here so people can watch me shit. There's literally cars going by. It's like, oh, hey, I didn't get in the car today thinking I was going to see a man shit on the side of the road. What happened about you, honey? It's like, oh yeah, Catholic girls going by. It's like, is that a man? No, they're probably like, why is that man walking? Oh, sorry, he's looking for a place to do the number two. He's about to do the deucey kind of thing. Deucey? Loosey-goosey, you know what I'm saying? He's going to have a loosey-goosey. 5 minutes ago, he was complaining he had pornography due to sexual involvements in the nature of his being. But now, the nature of his being is saying, hey, I'm calling you to a higher service. And he's changing his voice, because look at this. This is some kind of fucking meth addicted, my God. Was lied to much. Was lied too much by. Wow. What an interesting painting. Was lied to too much. They didn't get the two right. Was lied to too much. Rest in peace or something. Or by. Was lied to too much. Wow. Wow. That's sad. I'm going this way. So this is a place where people are very, let's call it what it is, dire straits. More than I. Now, let's see if I can find a place to take a crap. Yeah, no word. What if somebody that knows me, what are the chances? Let's compute the probabilities that my teacher from grade 3 will be driving by while I'm taking a crap on the side of the highway. Can you compute that, Jeeves? Yes, I'm working it now, Master. It's actually a lot more likely than you think. Really? Well, they've been watching you on a heads-down display given to them by the scientific establishment of Canada. And they've been told to tune in for this week's episode. How did they know? I don't know. You're reaching a new milestone. Milestone number 3 on Heidegger's list of the descent of man. Shit. Okay, Heidegger? Does he mean Heidegger? No. I mean, that would be stupid. I would be like a moron. I would be a laughing stock. An international snafu of such ignoble proportions as was recommended to the annals of tomorrow. And why wait for the annals of tomorrow when you can take a crap today? Sorry. I get a little comedic when I have to take a shit, and I'm worried about someone seeing me. I can't get far enough away from this highway. The only thing worse that could happen right now is if there was a hobo. Don't you mean another hobo? No, why would I mean that? That would imply that I was a hobo, and I'm not a hobo. I'm just feeling a little heebie-jeebies. Okay, I think this is far enough. This is good. I've got some moss, thank you very much. There's someone's property up here. I hope I don't start going for a little surveillance, a little patrol. Well, it's good crap. Thank you. I know nobody's clapping, but you could feel free to applaud. That was hard. I had a day of grief yesterday too, so there's that factor. Intense grief. And so that was a very deer-like crap on the side of the highway. I like it. A deer crap on you. We're done. Danger is over. Danger averted. I mean, crapping in public is dangerous. But also, you don't want to go somewhere where somebody's going to find it. Let it be unfound. Let it rest here, I say. Undiscovered country. People, things don't need to see, and they don't need to see those things. They don't want, like, my crap would look at them and go, ah, like that Home Alone guy. Ah, sorry, you're not supposed to see me. Okay, off we go. It can be in the string here. It's like, oh look, it's Second Officer Mousy Stench. How are you? First Officer Mongolian Drool. Okay, let's go back. Oh, we're going back to the way we came from. We don't know where that is, but it would be good to come emerging from the trees. The people on the highway sees that you're emerging. Hey, look, there's my third grade teacher. She sees me emerging at the side of the highway and thinks, whoa, Landon kinda didn't go the way he thinks. I thought I'd be a doctor of many astral things. I thought I'd be a poet of so many springs. I thought I'd be much more than I appear to be today. The truth is that I never thought about what I would be. The truth is that before long I just wanted to stay me. This is called I'm Not Gay, the musical. I think I've had so many times when I just wanted my own mind's contentment with my flesh and blood so free. We walked or drove or talked about eternity. And on the lips of mine lives something so sublime as all my safety then had been assured. They lay with all these forces of the world when all began. I've got some stick in my hair, I've got it out, and that's so fair. I'm going back from having saved the shat that would have stained my underwear. I should crawl up this hill and be like, a serial killer is chasing me. Serial killer. When you think about, like, what human should be overly alarmed about being hunted by, in the name of death. And I don't think anyone wants to talk about that, so we watch things about serial killers, extraordinarily death-oriented stories, but not anything that comes to bear upon our own death by, democide, essentially. In the 23rd century, they're like, men and women in the 21st century, even after a century of tremendous death tolls and glorified slaughters in the name of the ceremonial magic, which people served in one sense and abhorred and killed their enemies in the name of slandering any other race that they were told to, that bared any resemblance to the kind of machine they were working for. Death by democide became the mark of the 20th and 21st centuries. But never did anyone speak of such things because they weren't allowed. But now, in the future, welcome to the future. You don't live there anymore. Everyone in their seats, just kind of their sphincter opens up. We've done studies. Whenever we talk about the 20th, 21st century, all of the ruling accuracy, people's sphincters slam shut like a cigar cutter. But then they relax and we let them know that you're in the future and it's okay. We call it immersive education. You can get the equivalent of the education of the average PhD in cosmic theosophy in a span of 15 seconds in our theater of the damned. It's like, and man's education becomes meted out in just dots and dashes of the opening and closing of our sphincters between 0 and the age of 5. It's like, oh, okay, this one's going to be a doctor. You've got a lot of sphincter closing ejaculations of the cerebellum. We're really going to have a very light touch with a scalpel. And I'm going to be pretty good at that bedside manner, too. while prescribing endless rings of our glorified and extremely painful drugs. Combinations of kinds of witchcraft and spellcraft, and the professional tendencies which we have groomed among all of their races to go along with the rather conspicuous malarkey, which they will call the authority of the day. Welcome back to the future, and we're now okay. I get more witty when I'm tired. Some would say that my pith is like the wind. His pith was like the wind. He could make us think in ways that we could know. Songs upon the raven's very own. And men and women far and wide could hear their heart and know that sound was all they made. When first a mother to their child gave a breath, a murmur that could steal the grave. Da dee 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 da 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 da. Dee 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 dee. I even like that one. La dee da dee dee. There's a certain chill that gets in a man who can walk an all day and cannot talk. We had that poop. That was a glorious poop. I was like a little worried I wasn't going to poop, and I was talking about pooping. Then I was talking about going somewhere that might help me poop. And sure enough, this wasn't a very big poop. It was actually a very comfortable poop compared to many poops I had. There was such an ease to it. It's like it didn't really strain. It was an easy birth. I didn't need to midwife it. You know what I mean? It was just like, it was very easy. As a child, definitely one of my best behaved. I wish I could give a scene in an interview of certain craps. Like, Landon, we're having you back again. According to your live stream, we just had another incredible Please tell the audience who wasn't listening to the live feed, or even those who were and wish to relive it with you now on live TV after a long day's work, humping their load while you simply let it go. Let it go, let it go behind some distant trees. Let it go, let it go. Let it smell caught in the breeze and find its way through windows of hard-working white peeps. Let it go, let it go. Hey, do we sniff something in the air? Let it go, let it go. I know just when and where, because I follow Landon's lovely live feed. I know when a deuce has been born, and it was fair. Okay, now we've had an intro song written by myself. Ask me anything, Ted. Well, what happened between, like, you didn't have to take a crap, and then you did? When did that happen? It's kind of like, when do wars really begin? When did we stop being at war, or weren't at war, and then we were at war? When were you, in a way, disposed to become, in even just beginning to become increasingly confident that you were going to take this stupendous dump at the side of the highway? And also, were you afraid that people were going to see you? And how did you handle that? And I know it's a big question, but it's important, and the people need to know. I get paid to ask you about your crap. This is a low point in my career. I'm trying to make it good. You know what I'm saying? Help me out here, lady. Like, justify my existence. Please give me something. Throw me a bone. Hopefully not one from the police where you took a shit. Okay, Ted. Look, I hear a little distress in your voice. Don't disturb yourself. I realize that there's probably more important things for the world to listen to. And I just want to say, all of my millions of followers around the world, what's wrong with you? I mean, there are serious problems in the world. I know, I did make a tape of it. I have gotten you involved in a live stream with my preoccupations, as they do become quite climactic upon the release of another beautiful pile of my own steaming crap. And yes, sometimes it's a lot better than what the world calls reality. And I know we can all talk about that because we're sensible, somewhat disaffected misanthropes who have a kind of statological turn to our mind. Better than the other ways the mind is often turned to many more noble things which amount to little more than a pile of my own steeping shit. But that's another story, isn't it, Ted? Well, Landon, I'm glad I have an Ivy League education. It helps me understand that you're full of you-know-what. Thanks, Ted. I'll see you next time on Let's Take a Crap. Dude, you're so smart. Why don't you get a job? Dude, you're so smart. Where's my car? I don't know. It's over there somewhere, probably. With that smoke coming out of the distance. Is that alcohol I smell in your breath? Okay. If I was going to design like a pledge of allegiance for all the schools in the world, from like communist China to New York, I would be like, I, as a human being, do declare that I will follow everything that the wonderful big people of my nation tell me to do, but also reserve a tiny place in my mind where the government puts all of its secrets and buries all of its dead bodies, where I get to have a few divergent thoughts that may one day grow into a seething and bitter tree in a nefarious prelapsarian garden, where I will thin myself at night, so that I don't have to continue to bear all of the woeful prejudice and suffering of this ill-begotten world. So let us begin the day with zest and renewed strength. Thank you, Lord Almighty. Let's play another round of This Is How Smart I Am, proving once again that intelligence has nothing to do with sanity. Okay, this is how smart I am. I know that the land is different than the sky. I know that the left is not the same as the right. I know that life is true and death is false. I know that life and death are opposites. Or true and false are opposites, I should say, but life and death are not. Monkey scratching head. It is so itchy, so very itchy. I have an itchy trigger finger when it comes to the beneath part of my ball sack. Right, I've got to fire away. Hold on a moment. I call it the final satisfaction. Sometimes if I go even a little more south, it's like Edmund Hillary in the South Pole. It's like, we're there, folks. Let's start rooting around until it feels better, no matter what anybody thinks. I just think every man just wants to root around his asshole sometimes to make himself feel better. It gets itchy sometimes. It's like you just want to say, pull down your pants or your jeans, rather, and just be like, sorry,